So here we go then. This is now your shootout. This is now your showdown at Silverstone for pole position here in the British Grand Prix. It's advantage reigning world champion Marc Marquez. 3 pole positions so far this season. Poles in Jerez, Hungary, and most recently the Sachsenring in Germany for Marc Marquez. We've had 7 different pole sitters in the last 7 Grand Prix here at Silverstone, as Marco Bezzecchi looks to mount another charge. He was on pole here 3 years ago on a Ducati back in 2023. He's had a Moto2 pole position here as well. And this will be something special for a battered and bruised Marco Bezzecchi. He hasn't really been anywhere near full fitness since he got cleaned out on lap 1 at the first corner, has he, by his teammate Jorge Martin a few weeks ago. But look at this. This is Bez at his brilliant best once again, rapid in sector 1.
Yeah, choosing to go out all on his own. He's not interested in getting in behind anyone and getting a reference. He's not worried about any sort of traffic. He's just focusing on the job at hand. And I suspect if he does put in a banzai lap here to put in provisional pole, I think he might just pull in and park it just to manage himself for the rest of the day. You can see the Aprilia moving around there on the way out of Woodcote, but it hasn't slowed him down, has it?
Yeah, that just shows how fast Bezzecchi is going, because that was a very nervous rear tyre underneath him as he powered the Aprilia through Woodcote. Now he attacks them through Maggots and Beckett's. This is where he's going to be struggling with that lack of movement in that recovering left knee, but nothing is disrupting the pace. Nothing is disrupting the brilliant rhythm here of the Italian. Now he powers the Aprilia down the hanging straight. He's got almost 0.3 of a second in his pocket. Halfway through this final sector, hard on the brakes, back 3 gears into Stowe, turn 15, 3 corners left then of what is potentially another record-breaking lap here from Marco Bezzecchi. Ralph Fernandez on the charge as well. Here is Bez then, on the brakes into turn 15 we go. Bezzecchi, Fernandez, Didier, all on extremely hot laps. It's going to be the first of that trio. Over the line will be Bez. Where is this going to take Bezzecchi? 56.456. Back on provisional pole.
Didn't have the same advantage in that final sector, though, that we'd seen from him yesterday. So is that time beatable? It certainly feels beatable. And it's Ralph Fernandez who is sticking his hand up to potentially go out there and beat it. That is the last we'll see in qualifying 2 of Marco Bezzecchi. He's spent all of his energy reserves. Can Ralph Fernandez now take pole away from it? that
is his ceiling. That is Bez's limit then. Is he going to be good enough to keep him in pole position? Is he going to be good enough to keep him on the front row of the grid? A 56.456. The 2 fastest times of the weekend so far then have both been completed by Bezzecchi.
Both of the Trackhouse Aprilias are targeting this, though. Fernandez quick through the first 2 sectors. Ayagura also up halfway around. Trackhouse coming to the party now.
Ralph Fernandez. This could be an all-time lap record. If he nails this 4th sector, he is right on the money here, isn't he? The perfect way to potentially celebrate his new 2-year contract with Trackhouse Aprilia. Over on he goes. It is a new all-time lap record. Absolutely superb. A stunner at Silverstone then from Ralph Fernandez, on course for his first ever MotoGP pole position. He finds a 156.181, almost 0.3 of a second clear of Marco Bezzecchi, who keeps himself on the front row in second place. Can anybody then find something to deny the phenomenal Fernandez?
The rider who might come closest is his teammate. Here's Ayagura, who's right behind Pedro Acosta, and Agura might get himself onto the front row. We could have an all Aprilia front row here. Agura takes second place on a 156.349. It is Aprilia on the front row.
Trackhouse 1-2 once again. Justin Marks of the boss is watching trackside here at the British Grand Prix. I'm sure he's pinching himself once again. Having a quick look at the timing screens. Fabio Di Gianantonio, fastest this morning in FP2. He's been pushed back down to 7th place. Didier is having a strong final lap. Needs to get himself, you think, up into the top 6. Here is Fabio then, powering the Ducati through Woodcote, and with the blind entry into Copse. This will be close. Certainly if he carries this on through, it'll be threatening the front row of the grid.
Marc Marquez is also having one more crack at this. As you can now see on your screens, he set the fastest first sector so far. The reigning world champion, who's now down onto the second row of the grid in 4th. He is far from finished.
as mentioned, we've never ever seen a 56 lap around Silverstone before this weekend. We're creeping ever closer, aren't we, to 55. What's that in the middle of the circuit?
It's a seat wings, isn't it?
Somebody's looks like something was being told. It's a piece that's fallen off Marco Bezzecchi's factory Aprilia. Thankfully, it's not anywhere near the line as you exit the high-speed sweep down onto the Hangar Straight, all in, just as you knew he would be as the reigning world champion. Look at this by Jorge Martin. How close is it in identical times through these splits? And Jorge Martin, well, he had his first ever Aprilia pole position in Assen a few weeks ago. Martin then now attacking hard. On the brakes he goes into turn 15.
Gian Antonio onto the front row of the grid. He's taken third on a 56.4, so Bezzecchi now down to fourth place. Martin and Marc Marquez could yet relegate him further.
Not looking like Mark is going to secure a 78th MotoGP pole position. Could Jorge Martin though secure his 22nd MotoGP pole position? This is going to be ultra close at the finish line. Out of Club Martin goes. He's done it. He takes it by a whisker. Jorge Martin produces a late fireworks performance, a 1:56.160 from the World Championship leader. Fair to say he's got confidence back in that factory Aprilia. A 56.160 is the fastest ever MotoGP lap around this iconic and historic Silverstone circuit. He takes pole position number 22 in MotoGP by the narrow margin of just 0.02 of a second. Aprilia's fairy tale British Grand Prix weekend continues. Marco Bezzecchi quickest on practice Friday. Jorge Martin will head on all Aprilia front row of the grid. Martin denies Ralph Fernandez his first ever MotoGP pole position by the narrowest of margins. Fernandez takes second. Ayagura completes at all Aprilia front row. Gian Antonio is fourth. He was fastest in FP2 this morning. Marco Bezzecchi into the low 56s once again, is on the middle of the second row in fifth place. This is where the seat aero is going to fling off the back of Marco Bezzecchi's factory Aprilia. Thankfully, there's nobody directly behind him, was there? Or in close proximity. As you can see, that aero has detached itself from Marco Bezzecchi. Aprilia potentially detaching themselves from the pursuing pack here at Silverstone. Marc Marquez, the reigning world champion, will go from sixth place on the grid. Alex Marquez, a double sprint winner here at the British Grand Prix, is seventh. Morbidelli, Acosta and Lecuona completed top 10. What a job by Iker Lecuona. He out-qualified Jack Miller and Joan Mir. Late frustration now, it looks like, from Marc Marquez. He's going to be on the back of that second row.
What's Ralph Fernandez got to do to get a pole position in MotoGP? He misses out again. Surely he would have thought that 56.1 was good enough. It was not quite good enough. And Jorge Martin, who hasn't necessarily been talking like a championship leader in the last few Grand Prix, in the end, it's a second pole out of the last three for Jorge Martin. A little bit of an upset for Martin to be taking pole, but certainly not an upset for Aprilia to lock out the front row. Another show of strength from them.